Hey.
Hey man, good luck.
You too.
There we go. Excellent. It really is. And it's just so oh, Frost taking a first point there.
Rule number 1, you know.
Like, especially when I was coding for the longest time, I kind of felt, you know, you get to a ooh, Fry taking his first point too. When you're learning to code, right, you don't start out writing whole programs. You start out, you know, basically just writing logic, you know, learning how to do stuff like present a form to your user, you know, doing a lot of stuff in command line. But when I took originally I just took coding classes because I needed electives for my engineering degree, and I was like, well, coding's like basically gonna replace my job anyways in a couple of years. Might as well fucking learn how to code. X out of this, that way I don't get. Ooh, Fry taking his second point. But you know, you get to a point with coding where you know enough to know how to code. Ooh, Fry taking another point. But you don't know enough to make software. Like, you know how to write lines of code to do stuff, but you don't know what stuff to do. Ooh, Frost taking his second point now too. I feel like a lot of that is making the jump from stuff that you're running in a command line, or maybe not even in the command line, just running without any user input, to running actual, you know, web forms and stuff like that, stuff on the internet, and doing server management and stuff like that too. You know, it isn't coding, but it goes hand in hand. Knowing how to deploy your software is just as important as knowing how to make your software. And it took me a while to learn that, but then past that, I really have felt like recently I've just been able to go, okay, I want this. I want a better matchmaking system. Frost taking his third point now too. We might see the comeback from Frost here. He went to the sperm bank. He brought his receipt. Oh no, but he isn't getting his comeback. Oof. Fry taking round 1. Know how to back up your code. Yeah. I mean, and going even further on that, not just how to back up your code, but also like how to actually make branches. Like at this point, I went ahead and deployed this code knowing that it had a good chance of working, but I haven't pushed this to my main branch yet. I'm still keeping the old logic on my main branch for the time being until I get everything that I want in this next update up. I've also been, you know, doing stuff like actually keeping a coding journal, where I keep track of like design decisions that I've made, and then I go back and I'm like, okay, you know, I did this. Did it work? Did it not work? Do I need to change this, or is it good how it is? Ooh, Fry taking his first point there. And I feel like too we're getting real close to one of the possible end games for the bot, which is being able to open up deployment and have it really actually be open source. I'm less sure on that now than I was back in November when I started this whole thing. Honestly, just because I've seen other people who have Discord bots that aren't open source, where they actually make money off that shit. And, ooh, Frost taking his first point right back. Come on, Frost. You got this. I believe in you. Yeah, specifically the tournament manager bot that's built into Challenge now, which fucking I definitely took some things from them, but I wasn't thrilled with how that bot worked when I ran tournaments with it. And just the fact that this bot now could compete with some actual like software that people pay money for. Ooh, Frost taking his second point. I don't want to get greedy, but at the same time, I do stream for 8 hours a weekend. I do want some form of sustainable, heck, even stuff like just paying for equipment and possibly even advertisement, you know? Stuff like that is sort of where I'm thinking of now that the bot itself is pretty stable and I don't got to do a ton of work on it. I feel like everything from here on out is going to be... I always say that too, and it never ends up being the thing, but I feel like from here on out it's going to be pretty minor tweaks. Like, I got a couple more things that ooh, Frost taking... Yeah, or I'm sorry, Fry taking his second point. Frost taking his second point. But yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I mean... Ooh, Fry taking a third point! Yeah, and I mean, I love open source software too, because another person will come in who's much more experienced coding than you and help you out if need be. But yeah, it's just like, I was kind of taking it from the approach of like, oh wow, you know, what I'm doing right now may not be available. You know what it really was? It was when, and I hope you're not watching, but if you are, when Cruxer ran Fight Nights, even though it ended up just being a complete mistake, I was actually like, for a second, like, whoa, is this dude gonna take my event? Because he actually got more views than me, than I usually would on Blast on Fight Nights. Ooh, Frost taking his third point back. Ooh. Yeah, and I like tuned in and I was like, oh wow. Oh, there we go. Frost taking round 2. We're going to round 3. What the heck? Oh, what was I talking about? Oh yeah. And that was sort of like the moment where I was like, oh wow, Fry taking a quick point right off the bat there. That was a point where I was like, wow, wait, do I actually have to like make sure that someone doesn't take the idea for this event? Because as far as reoccurring weekly virtual reality events go, there's not a ton in the market. There's tournaments that will happen, and there's, you know, more serious events that like the people who make the games themselves will run. But something that kind of is this. Ooh, Fry taking his second point there. Frost's gonna have a hard time catching back up now. But something like this doesn't really, like a VR league that's actually casual and isn't focused on just running tournaments and stuff like that, surprisingly rare. But this format could go for a lot of different games. This is not just restricted to virtual reality, and I think that's what's gonna have to be my my ticket to actually having a stream in an event while keeping stuff open source. Hydrate or dihydrate, understandable. All right, cool, Gnarly. So predictions will go on the next match.
Nice.
Ugh. Ooh. We're getting back in. I'm refocusing on this match. So we're seeing this from Frost's view. Frost Knight now is a little bit down on strikes and obviously down the point. I feel like he's just trying to sneak one in here. Trying to even it up quickly. Ooh, I thought that one really was gonna hit. Oh, all right. He's tied it back up, folks. Now the only lead that Fry's gotten is in terms of strikes. Ooh, and he takes a third point. Oh, no. Ah, and Frost takes the win. right, and I believe that is it for round 3. We're going to call another set of matches.